Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 jaw-dropping dunks by NBA players. That's right, you heard me. We're talking about the most ridiculous, the most spectacular, the most electrifying throwdowns in the history of the game. We're about to witness some of the most gravity-defying, rim-rocking, posterizing moments ever captured on film. So buckle up, folks, because this is going to be epic. Get ready to witness some of the most electrifying moments in basketball history. We're talking about the kind of dunks that make you jump out of your seat and scream at the top of your lungs. From coast-to-coast assaults on the rim to high-flying acrobatics that'd make even the most seasoned veterans scratch their heads, we've got it all. We're kicking things off with King James himself, LeBron James. Now I know what you're thinking. Stephen A., you're biased. You always show LeBron love. And you know what? You're absolutely right. But listen, there's a reason why this man is constantly compared to his airness. The year was 2012, the Heat were facing off against the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the tension in the building was thicker than a bowl of grits. LeBron was having himself a night, putting on a clinic against a tough Boston defense. But then, it happened. Jason Terry, a defensive stalwart in his own right, tried to step in and take a charge. Big mistake. LeBron rose up, and I mean he elevated over Terry like he was a mere speed bump. The crowd went absolutely bonkers, the commentators lost their minds, and poor Jason Terry, well, let's just say he became an instant meme. That, my friends, is what we call a statement dunk. The kind of dunk that sends a message to the entire league. This is my house and I'm here to stay. LeBron James, ladies and gentlemen, showing everyone why he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Listen, I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what your favorite team is. When you're talking about the greatest dunks of all time, you have to mention Vince Carter. And I'm not talking about just any dunk, I'm talking about the dunk that shook the world. The 2000 Olympics, Team USA is facing off against France. Now on paper, this should have been a walk in the park for the Americans. But standing between Vince Carter and the rim was 7'2" Frederick Weiss. Now most mortals would have thought twice, maybe even thrice about challenging a man that size. But not Vince Carter. Vinsanity took flight, and I'm not talking about some little hop, skip, and a jump. This man soared through the air like a majestic eagle, his head practically at the rim, and dunked right over Weiss. The French players were stunned, the American bench erupted, and the entire world witnessed basketball history. Now, some of you younger folks might not remember this, and that's a crying shame. Michael Jordan, the GOAT himself, was more than just a phenomenal scorer, he was a showman. He understood the assignment, knew how to work a crowd, and his dunks, they were pure poetry in motion. And perhaps no dunk embodies Jordan's airness more than his iconic free throw line dunk. It was the 1988 Slam Dunk Contest, and the atmosphere was electric. The crowd was buzzing with anticipation, waiting to see what kind of magic Jordan would unleash. And boy did he deliver. With a combination of grace and power that would make even Baryshnikov jealous, Jordan took flight from the free throw line, gliding through the air before throwing down a thunderous slam. The place went absolutely bananas. Judges were speechless, players were left in awe, and Michael Jordan cemented his place in basketball lore. Blake Griffin! Now there's a name that sends shivers down the spines of defenders everywhere. They call him the Beast for a reason, folks. This man is a walking highlight reel, a human torpedo with hops that would make a kangaroo jealous. And back in his Los Angeles Clippers days, he unleashed one of the most ferocious dunks the league had ever seen. The victim? None other than Kendrick Perkins, a formidable defender in his own right. But against Blake Griffin that night, Perkins might as well have been an inflatable mascot. Griffin drove baseline, rose up with the fury of 1,000 suns, and threw down a monster slam right over Perkins. The crowd went wild, the internet exploded, and Kendrick Perkins, well, he became a permanent fixture on Blake Griffin's highlight reel. That's what we call a poster dunk, folks. The kind of dunk that makes you want to call your mama. Shaquille O'Neal, the Big Diesel, the most dominant force the NBA has ever seen. This man was a walking, talking earthquake on the court, and opposing teams trembled at the mere sight of him. When Shaq went up for a dunk, you didn't try to block it, you just got out of the way. And on one fateful night, even the backboard itself couldn't contain Shaq's raw power. It was a regular season game against the New Jersey Nets, and Shaq was having his way with the opposition. He received the ball in the post, backed down his defender, and then unleashed a monstrous dunk that shattered the backboard into a million pieces. The crowd gasped, the players looked on in disbelief, and Shaq? He just stood there, grinning that mischievous grin of his. That's right, folks, Shaq didn't just dunk the ball, he broke the damn backboard. They had to stop the game, clean up the debris, and find a replacement basket. Now that's what I call domination. Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba. one of the most skilled and ruthless scorers the game has ever seen. Kobe's footwork was legendary, his fadeaway was unguardable, and his dunks, they were a thing of beauty. Now Kobe might not have been the leaper that some of these other guys were, but what he lacked in hops he more than made up for in finesse and creativity. Take for example his iconic reverse dunk against the Denver Nuggets. Kobe drove baseline, elevated with his signature grace, and then, just when you thought he was going to throw down a thunderous slam, he switched hands in midair and finished with a smooth reverse dunk. The crowd went wild, the Nuggets defenders were left grasping at air, and Kobe, he just gave that little smirk of his, the one that said, "Yeah, I did that." That's Kobe Bryant for you folks, always one step ahead of the competition. Derrick Rose, the youngest MVP in NBA history. This kid from Chicago was a blur on the court, blowing past defenders with his lightning-quick first step and finishing at the rim with explosive athleticism. And when it came to dunking the basketball, Derrick Rose was in a league of his own. One dunk, in particular, stands out in the minds of NBA fans, his high-flying throwdown over Goran Dragic. Rose was leading the fast break, eyes fixed on the basket, when he took off from just inside the free throw line. Dragic, to his credit, tried to make a play on the ball, but it was too late. Rose soared over him, cocked the ball back and slammed it home with authority. The United Center erupted, the commentators lost their minds, and Derrick Rose, well, he just kept on running, a look of quiet determination on his face. That's what made Rose so special, folks. He made the impossible look effortless. Dwight Howard, Superman himself. Now I know what you're thinking, Stephen A., Dwight Howard? Really? And look, I get it, the man's got a bit of a reputation for, shall we say, his off-court antics. But you can't deny his athleticism, his raw power, and when he was on, his ability to absolutely dominate a game. And nowhere was that more evident than in the 2008 slam dunk contest. Howard, then with the Orlando Magic, decided to pull out all the stops. He donned a Superman cape, grabbed a basketball with a special design and proceeded to jump over a freaking table before throwing down a thunderous dunk. The crowd went absolutely bonkers, the judges were left speechless, and Dwight Howard, well, he just stood there, soaking it all in, a big old grin on his face. It was pure theater, folks, and a reminder that even Superman has to have a little fun every now and then. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. This man is a physical anomaly. A 7-foot-tall point guard with the wingspan of a pterodactyl and the athleticism of a gazelle. He's like, if you combine the best parts of Kevin Durant, Magic Johnson, and a runaway freight train, and when it comes to dunking, well, let's just say Giannis makes the impossible look routine. Take, for example, his dunk over Tim Hardaway Jr. Giannis was driving to the basket, his long strides eating up the court, when Hardaway Jr., a solid defender in his own right, stepped in front to try and take a charge. Big mistake. Giannis took off from what seemed like the three-point line, his long limbs extending towards the rim like some kind of mythical creature. Hardaway Jr. could only watch in horror as Giannis soared over him, cocked the ball back, and slammed it home with a thunderous roar. The crowd went wild, the commentators lost their minds. And Giannis? He just let out a primal scream, a release of pure adrenaline and power. That's Giannis Antetokounmpo, folks, the Greek freak defying logic and physics one dunk at a time. Zach LaVine. Now this kid is something special, folks. He's got hops for days, creativity that would make Picasso jealous, and a knack for making the difficult look downright effortless. And nowhere was that more evident than in the 2015 slam dunk contest. LaVine, then a rookie with the Minnesota Timberwolves, came out with a point to prove. He had everyone on the edge of their seats waiting to see what kind of magic he was going to unleash. And boy, did he deliver. With a combination of grace, athleticism, and sheer audacity, LaVine took flight, put the ball between his legs, and threw down a reverse dunk that left everyone speechless. The crowd went absolutely bonkers, the judges were left in awe, and Zach LaVine, well, he just stood there, soaking it all in, a big old grin on his face. That's the kind of dunk that makes you question the laws of physics, folks. The kind of dunk that makes you believe in the impossible. Well folks, there you have it, the top 10 jaw-dropping dunks in NBA history. We've seen it all, from gravity-defying leaps to rim-rattling slams, from posterizing dunks to backboard-shattering displays of power. These dunks weren't just amazing athletic feats, they were moments of pure basketball brilliance, etched forever in the annals of NBA history. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing basketball content. Which dunk was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below.